celebrated Earth Day by volunteering in a citywide cleanup. We'll bring you that story as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday morning. We're almost to the weekend.
We are.
I don't know about you. It was just something about this morning. It was hard to get out of bed.
It was very hard. Yeah. And it seemed like this week, for some reason, went by slow.
Yeah. Sometimes they do that.
They do.
Yeah, maybe it's the weather. I don't know.
It could be.
It's a drizzly morning out there, just kind of gloomy like it was yesterday. It looks like we're going to have to deal with that, at least for today.
Yeah.
And then things will start to brighten up.
Yes, this weekend seems decent.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. Some rain and snow passing through this morning. Not concerned with any accumulations, especially with temperatures forecasted to rise above freezing. So let's zoom things out this morning. We're seeing that area low pressure rotating through, bringing with it the rain and snow that will continue tonight into parts of tomorrow. So again, you may see some of that, especially tonight, but melting as we head towards tomorrow as well. So here's Futurecast with the rain and snow passing through. We'll see some of that for tonight at times, but also for tomorrow, a little bit of precipitation that will be occurring. So some gusty winds, especially further off towards the west today, that could reach up to 20 to even 25 miles per hour. But overall, again, not too bad tonight, but picking up again as we head towards tomorrow. So your forecast for today, mostly cloudy, some rain and snow showers, but again, not looking too terrible snow-wise, with highs in the upper 40s and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Here's your hourly forecast. Some rain, some snow mixing in. Temperature is in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Devin. Well, first this morning, a Bangor man who police say was found in his underwear while allegedly trying to break into a car early Wednesday morning is now believed to be connected to a swath of overnight vandalism all across the city.
As our Alex Schley tells us, a number of local businesses were impacted before an arrest was made.
Get on my cameras, I see there's a giant rock through my door. Not what you want to wake up to.
That was the reality that Zach LeClaire, owner of Quality Jewelers, woke up to Wednesday morning, along with a number of other Bangor business owners. Bangor police say the man captured on video is believed to be 34-year-old Alexander Justice.
I was notified, I got right down here, met with the police. Our cameras were able to capture the video of the guy actually doing the act. We got some really good shots of him, and it seems like the police got him right away.
Investigators say they believe the damage spree began at the plaza at the corner of Exchange and Washington Streets, where in addition to Quality Jewelers, rocks were also thrown through the windows of Heroes Sports Grill and Entertainment Center and Henry's Bridal Boutique.
They didn't have him in custody until I showed him the video, but I'm sure there was other businesses that caught him.
Police say the vandalism continued down Exchange Street, where windows at TD Bank and the courthouse were also shattered. From there, Justice is believed to have made his way to State Street, where he allegedly damaged the storefront of both Friday Pawn Shop and Tie Etc. Just before 7 o'clock, officers were called to Center Street for reports of a man in his underwear trying to break into vehicles.
They arrived and observed an individual actively trying to get into a vehicle that did not belong to him.
Justice has since been charged with failure to report a crime, criminal mischief, and probation violation. Business owners say while the cost to repair the damage set them back about $1,000, they're more concerned about the state of their community.
When these things happen, people don't want to be around here. It makes it incredibly tough to run a business. And I'm not alone when I say that we're really fed up.
Investigators say nothing was stolen from the vandalized businesses. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, authorities are also searching for those who vandalized a beloved tree in Orono. It's known as the Big Old Tree and is located in the Jeremiah Colburn Natural Area. According to the Orono Land Trust, someone used spray paint to mark a portion of the tree's trunk. The Public Works Department is now looking into ways to safely remove the tree with hopes of saving it. The tree is believed to be over 350 years old.
I should have wrote they're trying to remove the paint, not the tree.
Yes.
I wrote that. My bad. All right, moving on now. Town leaders in Lemoyne are warning those who apply for construction permits that scam emails are circulating related to those applications. A letter from the town treasurer, Stu Marcoon, says some applicants have received emails from an unknown sender demanding payment for, quote, application review and approval fees, asking the recipient to wire a large amount of money.
McCroon says that the email address is not a legitimate town address and is not actually from the town planning division or the chair, as it claims to be. He also says that emails from the USA.com domain, and there are actually no such thing as the town of Lemoyne planning division. McCroon says that if you get one of those emails, do not respond or open any attachments, but rather just delete it. If you've been harmed by this or any scam, contact law enforcement immediately. Meanwhile, Elliot Cutler once again stands accused of violating his probation. The former gubernatorial candidate is now facing his 5th probation violation charge after allegedly refusing to disclose passwords or keys used to access his electronic devices to investigators. That's according to a motion filed by his probation officer on Tuesday. Cutler was convicted in 2023 on 4 counts of possession of sexually explicit material of a minor under 12. In February, he was incarcerated without bail for his 3rd alleged probation violation. We reached out to Cutler's attorney, Walter McKee, for comment. He said, quote, Mr. Cutler denies these allegations. Cutler is scheduled to appear in Hancock County Court on May 15th for a probation hearing.
Well, game officials continue the search for a missing man from Winslow. They're now asking people to check their security cameras for any footage that might show 24-year-old Zachary Crothers. Crothers has developmental disabilities and hasn't been seen since he left his home around 3:35 on Sunday afternoon. Wardens are asking people who live around Clinton Avenue, Benton Avenue, and Halifax Street in Winslow to check their cameras for footage. They also hope they'll check sheds or other outbuildings that they might have on their properties. Anyone with information that may help can call Winslow Police at 872-5215.
Well, it's an overdue step in the right direction. A local air delivery company will be receiving around $97,000 from the U.S. Postal Service, a 25% chunk out of an overdue balance dating back to 2023.
Our Doug Banks with that story.
An update in the dispute between Penobscot Island Air and the United States Postal Service. In a Facebook post Tuesday night, the local delivery company announced that USPS will pay off 25% of the roughly $388,000 it owes the company for deliveries dating back to 2023. As of Wednesday, Penobscot Island Air is back to work. We have a framework for going forward, its post said. There's enough clarity for us to work with. Senator Susan Collins encouraged by the update.
The Postal Service has a responsibility to ensure that mail is delivered in a timely fashion. That commitment is especially important in a rural state like Maine.
Aside from some good faith payments earlier this year, company officials say they hadn't received a payment from USPS since March 13th, forcing them on Tuesday to halt deliveries to Vinyl Haven, North Haven, and Matinicus Island.
We are an independent small company and we cannot continue to do this the way it's been going.
It's crucial that they have mail service.
What the hell is going on over there? What is going wrong? And why do we have to hear these complaints so often?
A spokesperson with the Postal Service told us on Tuesday they'd reach out to Penobscot Island representatives to resolve the matter, but couldn't go into the specifics of its business relationship. The company says that USPS will make that 25% payment this coming Friday. Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, Maine's referendum on transgender athletes in school sports is now facing a legal challenge. Several Maine residents have filed a lawsuit claiming referendum supporters did not gather enough signatures to put it on the ballot this fall. The Secretary of State concedes that some mistakes were made in validating signatures, but Chenabello says there weren't enough mistakes to keep the referendum off the ballot.
The people who filed the suit claim hundreds of people signed the petition more than once, and some weren't legally registered to vote. It will be up to the court to decide whether Mainers will be able to consider the issue when they head to the polls in November. Moving on now, 3 top Democratic candidates for governor held a joint press conference at Granite City Park in Hallowell yesterday to announce their endorsement from Sierra Club Maine, a volunteer-run grassroots organization focused on environmental advocacy. Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, former House Speaker Hannah Pingree, and former Senate President Troy Jackson all received the organization's endorsement. Sierra Club Maine Political Committee Chair Emma Conrad says its endorsement process spanned several months and consisted of reviewing candidates across all parties, environmental records, and the organization's questionnaire responses.
A Green New Deal for Maine would invest and have the state install solar panels, heat pumps, and conduct weatherization on LIHEAP eligible homes.
I also supported pioneering laws to tackle the PFAS crisis and the first in the nation law that required big corporations to pay for wasteful packaging.
We supported more than 250 towns through the Community Resilience Partnership, like Hallowell, to prepare for future storms and save taxpayers' money.
Maine's gubernatorial primary election is on June 9th.
Well, Bangor residents turned Earth Day into a day of action, joining forces for a citywide cleanup. Volunteers work together to beautify public spaces and make a lasting impact.
Our Alexa Kennedy with that story.
This Earth Day, Bangor community members joined Needlepoint Sanctuary for a citywide cleanup, volunteering their time to improve parks and public spaces. The day-long event brought together residents and organizations with the goal of making Bangor cleaner and stronger. Public health community organizer for Needlepoint Sanctuary, Luke Sakara Flanders, emphasizes the importance of collective action.
Environmental issues affect everybody. Everybody needs a clean environment. We want to collaborate with as broad a spread of organizations as possible to really make this a community celebration of our earth and of our responsibility to care for the environment.
Needlepoint Sanctuary partnered with numerous local and statewide advocacy organizations, including the Maine Environmental Education Association and Bangor Area Recovery Network.
The only way we can weather this storm is to work together.
Flanders says that even small efforts like cleanups can bring people closer.
Once you step away from that screen and you see the people that actually are present in your community, you see that you share a lot more than you may realize.
For volunteers like Bangor resident Jack Williams, the cleanup is personal.
I take pride in being from Bangor, and so I like to see Bangor being as clean as possible, you know, and just make it the best it can be.
Flanders says they hope to make the community cleanup an annual Earth Day tradition.
By practicing a relationship of responsibility rather than extraction and viewing the environment as something to simply be taken from, where we're taking steps to leave a better world behind for future generations.
In Bangor, Alexa Kennedy, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
What a great message.
Definitely. Yeah. The time now is 6:13. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the Red Cross is looking for more donors come summertime. We'll have that story ahead.
But first, another look at that forecast. Today will be a mostly cloudy day with a chance of rain and snow. Highs around 48 degrees. Mostly cloudy tonight with more messy weather. Lows dropping down to just below freezing. And yes, tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain or snow. Highs around 46, but don't worry, it'll start clearing up after that.
Hopefully.
It's going to be fantastic. Back with more right after this.
This spring, invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years, 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Do you own a business or nonprofit in the state of Maine? Annual reports can now be filed online. All business and nonprofit entities on file with the Secretary of State's office must file an annual report to maintain a good standing status. The annual filing deadline is June 1. Questions? Contact the Corporations Division at 207-624-7752 or cec.corporations@maine.gov. Brought to you by this station, the Maine Association of Broadcasters, and the Office of the Secretary of State.
Folks in the Bangor area can breathe easier, quite literally. The American Lung Association released its 27th annual State of the Air report, and it's shining light on Bangor metro area as the only metro area in the nation to appear on all 3 of the cleanest cities lists. The report findings show continued strong air quality in the Bangor metro area, which in the report includes all of the Penobscot County with A grades for ozone and the daily measure of particle pollution. The area also scored a ranking of 10th best in the nation for year-round average of particle pollution. That's a slight decline from last year, but still a high ranking overall.
Ozone and particle pollution are widespread and can impact anyone's health. But infants, children, and teens are more susceptible to health impacts. Ozone smog is a powerful respiratory irritant likened to a sunburn of the lungs. Particle pollution can also cause a host of respiratory problems and can also cause lung cancer. Hancock County actually tied for 9th cleanest county in the country for the year-round measure of fine particle pollution. So we're doing pretty good when it comes to clean air around here.
Good.
Well, you may not realize this, but spring is an important time for the Red Cross. Since donations typically drop in the summer, the organization is now asking folks to step up now. The Red Cross says the warmer months bring more movement and activity among the population, which unfortunately means more accidents and emergencies. So the Red Cross is speaking out about the need for more donors.
There's a constant need for blood. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood, so it's important to have the blood on the shelves, and donating now makes sure that we can do that in the coming weeks and months ahead.
You can go to redcrossblood.org if you'd like to donate blood yourself.
Meanwhile, National Drug Take-Back Day is approaching, and Northern Light health experts are speaking out about why this day is so important. They say they want to make sure that while folks are thinking about spring cleaning, they also include their medicine cabinets and get rid of expired or unwanted medications.
It's important to do that because you don't want them to fall into the hands of a child or someone who is unknowingly taking something that may harm them, or a pet even. Pets can get into our medications too.
Sudik says that folks should not put sharps, inhalers, or liquids in the drug take-back box. Sharps should be deposited into a box and taped up. Inhalers can be thrown in the trash, and liquids should be mixed with a substance that would prevent them from being consumed, like kitty litter, then disposed of in a separate bag. National Drug Take-Back Day is this Saturday.
And one other thing they didn't mention is it keeps it out of the environment too. If you throw it into your regular trash and it ends up in a landfill, all that stuff can leach down into the groundwater.
Right, and just the boxing and the packaging of it, the plastic.
Keep it out of the landfill. So.
Well, the time now is 6:18. After the break, new cuts are being made in healthcare research. We'll take you to that hearing coming up.
Plus, a Bangor resident was targeted in a new scam involving his missing cat. We'll explain ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Pat's Pizza in Holden is not just a restaurant that serves delicious food and pizza. They also have an adjacent party and event room. Consider having your birthday or office party at Pat's Pizza. They have a pro shop and a beautiful 9-hole golf course opening in the spring. Pat's Pizza Holden.
This is Maine. Wild, real, undeniably bold, with deep roots and endless horizons. From Acadia to Katahdin, from labs to lobster boats, this is where you push limits, explore new ideas, and discover your potential. So call it grit, call it pride, call it ingenuity. Whatever it is, you've got it. This is Maine. Claim your place.
With Maine's largest network of parts, Coastal Auto Parts keeps things moving. If it's got wheels and an engine, we've got the parts to keep it on the road and the drive to help more families in Maine. April is Autism Awareness Month, and Autos for Autism is back. That means you can join your local Napa Auto or Truck Care Center and your Coastal Auto Parts location to help families living with autism right here in Maine. Because serving our community is what keeps us going. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Last season, IndyCar champ Alex Palou rewrote the history books. So what's next?
A Bangor resident is warning people about a scam that almost cost him thousands of dollars just to be reunited with his missing cat.
Our Grace Blanchard has that story.
I know you can't really believe anything you see in front of your face, but I just really wanted to believe that she was alive.
That sense of hope and an AI-generated photo almost made Bangor resident Ross Kennedy the victim of a scam.
There are a lot of scams out there, and now with AI, it's even worse.
On Friday night, Kennedy discovered his 7-year-old cat Allison had escaped. He took to social media, posting a plea for help, including his phone number. But that's when things took a turn.
Got a call from an out-of-state number saying that my cat was hit by a car and it was at a vet nearby and that they wanted $3,000.
He also received a photo that was meant to be his cat on an operating table. Kennedy says the situation was convincing, but luckily he confided in others who suspected it was a scam.
I probably would have believed anything, because I just was not in the right state of mind.
Kennedy says he did not end up sending anyone money, but was losing hope until Allison returned home early Monday morning. Now he is warning others not to fall victim to these types of scams.
I want to share this experience because it could happen to anybody.
Kennedy says he is planning on contacting the police. In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Boy, you have to be skeptical with everything
You
these
really
days.
do,
Yeah.
especially like he said with AI.
Yeah.
It can be very realistic, so I'm glad they're reunited.
Yeah, I'm glad he got his kitty back.
Now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a quality automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have wave heights at around 4 feet this morning, even though it's looking a little active, not enough to prompt any advisories along the coast at this moment in time. And even looking calm further off towards the east. Overall, the ocean definitely looking very peaceful this morning. Meanwhile, further off on land, we're seeing some rain and a little bit of snow developing. It may accumulate in a couple spots, but very minimal. And with high temperatures getting above freezing today, again, the snowfall not looking too terrible. With this area low pressure that will be tracking off to the east, we'll see the snowfall backing off a little bit overnight, and we may see a little bit of that occurring as we head towards tomorrow. Here's the rain and snow passing through today. It will start to back off overnight for a little while, but as we head towards your Friday, we'll see a little bit of this occurring again throughout parts of your Friday. But again, once we head towards Friday night, we'll see the precipitation backing off and the clouds breaking up as we head towards your Saturday morning. So with regards to the snow accumulations, again, not looking too bad. You may see a little bit, but again, melting away fast with high temperatures each and every day, getting above freezing. And again, with regards to the total amount of water, looking a little bit like this. Again, 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rainfall, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch in a few spots before we're all finished up. And this is total water, so taking into account a little bit of that rainfall and snowfall as well. So with regards to the water, we could definitely take it, though. Again, make a dent in that drought that we're still seeing across the state. So for today, we got rain and snow showers, otherwise otherwise mostly cloudy with highs in the upper 40s and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, here we go. Low 30s under a mostly cloudy sky, rain and snow showers again. North breeze backing off to about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have mid 40s, mostly cloudy. We got rain and snow showers and that north wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Alrighty, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive in Brewer, showing a partly cloudy sky coming up for your Saturday. Highs in the upper 50s, and then low 60s for your Sunday under a mostly cloudy sky. Mostly cloudy Monday, highs in the low 60s.
It's scary. It's scary.
This morning, Snooki.
Why have you decided to share your journey?
Her first interview after being diagnosed with cervical cancer.
I feel like I need to share it.
And talking all things Jersey Shore.
Buckle up.
This morning on
Good Morning America.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bush. And I know what you're thinking, not another Bush, but hear me out. I'm not a politician or a lobbyist. I'm a veteran, an entrepreneur who created over 900 jobs in Maine. And as governor, I'll take a sledgehammer to Janet Mills' wasteful spending. I'll slash your taxes, property, and income, and put the Democrats' woke policies in the shredder. I'm Jonathan Bush. It's time for a Johnny, don't touch the shredder.
Mainly Tacos Dos is located on Main Street in Bangor, several doors down from the Maine Discovery Museum. It's a place for great food, drinks, and atmosphere. Check out our menu online. Mainly Tacos Dos, 64 Main Street, Bangor. Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
When I had first left for college, I was super excited to start pursuing my dreams, and I had met so many amazing people my freshman year. Yeah, some days were really hard, balancing work life and classes, but most of them, they were the best of my life, because I had something not everyone gets. A dad inspiring me every step of the way, and I'm so happy to graduate beside you.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Now to the war in Iran, the Secretary of the U.S. Navy ousted from his job, the latest top official forced out of the Pentagon during wartime. Meanwhile, a new report claims it could take months to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, even if there's a deal with Iran.
ABC's Marcus Moore is in Pakistan, where peace talks were supposed to take place this week.
This morning, dramatic video aired by state TV shows Iranian forces seizing 2 cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Masked soldiers climbing the deck, searching this ship, long guns at the ready. These scenes playing out one day after President Trump extended his ceasefire with Iran indefinitely.
Feels emboldened by this indefinite extension. It feels it can just wait out President Trump while the damage ramps up to the world economy.
The White House downplaying Iran's actions, saying the seizure of those ships does not violate the ceasefire. Cargo ships and oil tankers are now waiting just outside the Strait of Hormuz, unable to pass in the face of Iran's threats. An officer on one tanker tells us they won't move without safety guarantees.
I honestly cannot say what is worse. If it's the standing by here, waiting and hoping not to get hit, or the uncertainty of not knowing if the strait is open or closed.
Analysts already calling this the biggest energy crisis in history. And now, in the midst of this naval conflict, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has fired the Secretary of the Navy without explanation. There had reportedly been tension with Hegseth in recent months. Meanwhile, despite repeated assurances from President Trump that Iran's military force has been depleted, the head of the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency says Iran retains thousands of missiles and one-way attack drones that can threaten U.S. and partner forces throughout the region. Another sign of uncertainty with peace talks stalled and the world watching.
Iran has suggested that it will not return to the negotiating table until the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports is lifted. President Trump says the U.S. blockade scares Iran more than the bombing. Marcus Moore, ABC News, Islamabad, Pakistan.
Meanwhile, new concerns this morning about cuts being made to funding for research on cancer, Alzheimer's, and other diseases. Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. was asked about those cuts during a contentious hearing.
Here's ABC's Andrea Fujii.
Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. was grilled on Capitol Hill on everything from vaccines to funding cuts for the National Institutes of Health. One senator listed the grants that have been cut, including $94 million for vaccine research, $33 million for Alzheimer's research, and $29 million for cancer research.
I just have to say, cancer is not woke. Neither is Alzheimer's or women who die in childbirth. These are deadly issues. They deserve serious research. I'm appalled that it was tossed in the shredder.
Kennedy said he doesn't want to cut those programs, but is being required to because of the government's enormous debt.
We've been asked to cut across the board at HHS 12% of our $111 billion budget. And so we're making cuts that are painful.
Besides the cuts, $500 million of funding for research may go unused because of a lack of staff to process grants and a lengthy new screening process. That's according to the New York Times, which says research spending has fallen about $1 billion behind years past. Kennedy, a vaccine skeptic, also addressed the country's worst measles outbreak in decades in this testy exchange.
Does the president know there is a historic measles surge occurring nationwide?
You want me to answer
the question? It's just a very simple question.
Just want a grandstand.
You're going to get your opportunity.
You want a grandstand.
Does the president know there is a historic measles surge occurring nationwide?
I'm sure he does.
You're sure he does?
Kennedy has in the past called the measles vaccine a personal choice, but he's shifted his tone, saying the government recommends every child get the shot.
Meanwhile, the CDC is refusing to publish a study on certain benefits of the COVID vaccines. Officials there taking issue with the study's methodology. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
Now to prediction markets. They've generated lots of controversy, critics claiming they're nothing more than unregulated casinos. Now 3 politicians are in hot water accused of insider trading.
This morning, 3 candidates for federal office have been suspended from the prediction market platform Kalshi, accused of a kind of insider trading on their own elections. One of them says he knew he'd get caught.
And I'm here to tell you that for $100, I got more attention than anyone has ever gotten with money before.
Mark Moran, a Virginia Senate candidate, was fined $6,000. He says he was trying to prove a point.
I've been waiting for this. And why is that? It's to call attention to something much larger, how elections can be bought.
Prediction markets, which have exploded in popularity, are essentially a stock market for real-world events. People can bet on everything from what the weather will be to when celebrities will get married to who will win the White House. The more money that's bet on an outcome, the more the numbers move, giving the impression that a certain result is more likely to happen. Moran claims it allows wealthy donors to buy public perception.
You can buy an election for the low, low price of whatever it takes to move a market, because then the media reports on that market.
Kalshi says the 2 other politicians, congressional candidates Ezekiel Enriquez of Texas and Matt Klein of Minnesota, accepted small fines and suspensions for their trades. Klein called his wager a mistake, blaming his inexperience with the platform. Enriquez hasn't commented. Kalshi says all 3 were flagged because of our newly released safeguards to block political candidates from trading on their own elections. But there's a growing push in Washington and in several states to regulate the platforms, critics comparing them to gambling platforms.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, the Wild Blueberry Collective hosted an Earth Day event for the community.
We'll tell you all about it right after this.
What the? Who are you?
I'm the CEO of Frost Enterprises from the future.
The what now?
Because of everything you've done to help people get their cars ready for winter, you've had tremendous success.
Just from installing snow tires?
And replacing batteries and installing winter wipers.
Well, I'd just like to see folks safe on the road.
And for that, we thank you. Travel with me into the future and marvel at your accomplishments.
Nope, little chilly. I'm staying right here.
Need a safe and caring place for your loved one during the day? At the Merchant Center Adult Day program, we provide a supportive environment where adults can enjoy companionship, engaging activities, and personalized care in a setting that feels like home. Our experienced staff is committed to meeting each person's unique needs while promoting independence, dignity, and overall well-being. Families can feel confident knowing their loved ones are in compassionate, capable hands.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
Kirk Fisher is a motorcycle attorney with first responder experience. He protects fellow riders and those in danger, fighting fires and fighting for your rights. Experienced, determined, and dedicated. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Look for motorcycles, or Kirk Fisher will be looking for you. You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2026, and this is also Movie Theater Day.
This holiday celebrates movie theaters and all the thrills that they bring to our lives. Movie theaters are not only great places to relax, they also offer a great venue for romantic dates or a place to hang out with your friends and family. But sadly, with the advent of the internet and streaming services, many movie theaters now face extinction and have low patronage.
I love going to the movies. I don't go to the movies nearly as much as I used to.
I've actually been doing pretty good.
Have you?
Good. In the last year, I've gone quite a bit, actually, and I love it.
Yeah, it doesn't nothing replaces seeing something on the big screen either.
Especially when it first comes out,
Yeah.
And it's something you're really interested in. That's always fun.
We need to use them or lose them, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. And by the way, if you don't like that holiday, it's also National Love Your Thighs Day. So
that's a great one, Craig.
You need a good relation with your thighs. All right, moving on to history now. It was on this date back in 1635. The Boston Latin School became the first public school to open here in the U.S. In 1789, George Washington moved into the first presidential residence known as Franklin House in New York City. In 1969, Sirhan Sirhan received the death penalty for the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy. Kennedy was shot to death in California while campaigning for president. Sirhan was a Palestinian immigrant who said he shot Kennedy because of his support for Israel during the Arab-Israeli War of 1967. His death sentence was later commuted to a life sentence after California abolished the death penalty.
And in 1971, hundreds of Vietnam veterans who were opposed to the war held a big protest in Washington. They tossed their medals and ribbons over a wire fence that was constructed in front of the U.S. Capitol building. In 1984, scientists announced that they had found a cure for AIDS, a breakthrough that led to new treatments and offered hope to those affected.
They found the cause of AIDS, not a cure for AIDS.
Cause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in 1985, the Coca-Cola company announced that it was changing its formula for the first time in 99 years. The new sweeter Coke was expected to give the company a leg up over Pepsi in their ongoing cola war. However, the new Coke turned out to be a flop and the old formula was then reintroduced just 3 months later.
Yeah.
And in 1988, the U.S. imposed a ban on smoking during domestic flights of 2 hours or less.
Of course, they banned them all over now. All right, moving on to birthdays. They include actor and wrestler John Cena, who is 49 today. Comedian George Lopez turned 65. And singer Josh Kiska from the band Greta Van Fleet is 30 years old today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today. Greta Van Fleet came to Bangor a few years ago. They sound so much like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, they're really talented.
They are.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. Some rain and snow passing through this morning. Not concerned with any accumulations, especially with temperatures forecasted to rise above freezing. So let's zoom things out this morning. We're seeing that area low pressure rotating through, bringing with it the rain and snow that will continue tonight into parts of tomorrow. So again, you may see some of that, especially tonight, but melting as we head towards tomorrow as well. So here's Futurecast with the rain and snow passing through. We'll see some of that for tonight at times, but also for tomorrow, a little bit of precipitation that will be occurring. So some gusty winds, especially further off towards the west today, that could reach up to 20 to even 25 miles per hour. But overall, again, not too bad tonight, but picking up again as we head towards tomorrow. So your forecast for today, mostly cloudy, some rain and snow showers, but again, not looking too terrible snow-wise, with highs in the upper 40s and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Here's your hourly forecast. Some rain, some snow mixing in. Temperature is in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
Ready, set, let's go! Come to the open house at Greenway Equipment Sales in Bangor this Saturday and get geared up for the season. Celebrate spring and save on John Deere equipment. Take advantage of Deere season financing on John Deere compact utility and lawn tractors, Z-Trax, and Gators. Save hundreds on tractor attachments. Get 10% off all in-stock parts. And grab one-day only Greenway dollars for even more savings. The Smith Brothers invite you to their open house celebration this Saturday at Greenway Equipment Sales in Bangor.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in podorthics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or the hard-to-fit foot. Discover the latest in functional and fashionable footwear for men and women from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Merrell, and Ariat. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit-and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Lights, camera, cheese! The Cheese House is looking for its next star, and it could be you. If you're 21 or older, enter for your chance to appear in the next commercial. Stop by the Cheese House at 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield to enter. While you're there, browse their huge selection of glassware and 420 specialty foods. But we have the cheese! Remember, entries are happening in person at the Cheese House, 5 Pike Drive in Fairfield. Bring your personality, bring your smile, and we have the cheese.
ABC 7 and Fox 22's Jack Webb named Maine's Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association.
Welcome back in, folks. Let's start first with the Maine baseball team, who on Tuesday took on the number 22 ranked Boston College Eagles. Right out of the gate, it's Maine getting on the board when Troy Carpenter hits this ball into center field and sends Nick Pepe home. Quinn Murphy would also score later to make it 2-0 in the first. Then Carpenter says, I want to get on the score sheet too, and he does just that. Deep hit into right field, and it is out of here. It's 3-0 Maine. Maine, after 3 innings with the lead, Thomas Stabley was fantastic on the mound early for the Black Bears. Here's a nice strikeout to close out the third. And then Boston crawls back into it, makes it 3-3 in the fourth, but then Albert De La Rosa with a deep hit to left. That sends Hunter St. Dennis home, 4-3 Maine. Then in the top of the ninth, Juju Stevens, and this ball is crushed. It's gone. Maine takes a 6-4 lead. Sebastian Holt now with the game on the mound, and it is the closer. He seals the game with this out, and Maine wins 6-4. That win marks the Black Bears' first win over a nationally ranked opponent since 2018, and what a time to do it. Those boys are on a roll. Folks, tomorrow night is the first day of the NFL draft, and there's a ton of anticipation as it seems to be loaded with talent at almost every position. The New England Patriots won't pick until the end of the night tomorrow, but let's check in where they fall in every round of this year's draft. The Pats hold 11 total picks in this year's draft. Their first will be pick number 31, second to last one of the night. Now, trades can always happen, but this is where things stand right now. Round 2, they will be at pick number 63. Round 3, it's another long wait. They hold pick number 95. In round 4, the Pats have 2 picks, 125 and 131. They'll then pick 40 picks later at 171 in round 5. And then in round 6, team holds 4 picks. And you may say that 6th rounders aren't worth much, but I seem to remember a Pats legend in the 6th round who did all right for about 20 years. And then finally in round 7, they will pick at 247. Now to the ice, the Bruins evened the series with Buffalo and the Sabres at 1 apiece with a decisive win in Western New York on Tuesday. In Game 1, the Bruins went up 2-0 in the second period, even though they were wildly outshot by Buffalo, but former Black Bear Jeremy Swayman stood tall in net. But then in the third period, Buffalo rang off 4 goals in 7 minutes and won the game. In Game 2, after goals by Victor Arvidsson and Morgan Geekie in the second period, Boston found themselves in the same spot as Game 1, but this time they held their ground, scoring 2 more goals and winning 4-2. Bruins head coach Marco Sturm says that the difference in this game was that they ultimately played a better 60 minutes than on Sunday.
No, the guys played great today. They played their way. They played to our identity, let's put it that way. That was Bruins hockey right from the start to finish, and that's why we got the 2 points today over the big win.
Let's melt the ice now and check in with the Boston Celtics, who are coming off of a tough loss in Game 2 to the 76ers. After securing a dominant win in Game 1, the Celtics cooled off significantly in Game 2 versus Philly. Despite a 36-point game from Jaylen Brown and a 19-point game from Jason Tatum, the Celtics could not come away with the win. The game was pretty close through the first 2.5 quarters, but thanks to big performances from VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George, the Sixers were able to pull away in the fourth, resulting in a 111-97 loss for Boston. Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla says going into Game 3, there are plenty of things to clean up, and he knows this series will not be a cakewalk.
There's obviously things, that we'll do differently next game, be ready to do differently next game, but at the same time, we have to be aware of what's on the other side of that. And they're a good team, and they put a ton of pressure on those things, and you kind of saw some of that tonight.
All right, we've talked Bruins, we've talked Celtics, and we've even talked Patriots, so let's check in on Thursday's schedule for Boston sports. Thursday actually begins with the Boston Red Sox, who will play their finale game with the rival Yankees at 6 p.m. That game can be found on NESN Plus. An hour later at 7 p.m., it's Game 3 of Boston and Buffalo in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Bruins are back home now with a tied series. You can watch that game on TNT or on NESN. Then the NFL draft kicks off at 8 p.m. But Pats fans, you're probably not going to be picking until close to midnight. That will be on ABC, ESPN, and NFL Network. Celtics will play Game 3 versus Philly on Friday. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at EatonPaving.com.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
Pat's Pizza in Holden is not just a restaurant that serves delicious food and pizza. They also have an adjacent party and event room. Consider having your birthday or office party at Pat's Pizza. They have a pro shop and a beautiful 9-hole golf course opening in the spring. Pat's Pizza, Holden.
Our new champ, Edwin, is back with us tonight to spin and win more big money.
The more they win, the more you at home can win in our Spring Forward giveaway. The winning continues all April long.
Weekdays at 7 on ABC 7.
Welcome back, everyone. Last week, we brought you the story of Waldo County women trying to protect over 150 acres of wild blueberry land in their community.
Well, last night, a fundraiser and community event helped get them a little closer to their goal while letting locals experience some Earth Day fun, too.
Our Callie Warren with the details.
Everyone is able to make a little bit of a change in the world, and we're just hoping to do that with these parents.
A group of Waldo County women is seeking to become stewards of 158 acres of blueberry fields in Searsport.
They have been a part of this state, this area, Penobscot territory for thousands of years. We are rapidly losing them. We've lost 100,000 acres in the past 100 years.
The collective hopes to nurture and protect those lands and help them become a community space. To do so, they're fundraising and educating through an Earth Day event.
All donated time. Our collective is all here. There is nothing like the Waldo County community to come together and do good things.
The event featured everything from a yard sale to a raffle and crafting, but the real emphasis was on education around the importance and nutrition of wild blueberries and other native Maine plants.
When you have access to public land, public blueberries, and other medicinal herbs that live among the blueberries, our digestive system, our respiratory system, and obviously our cardiovascular system with that blueberry all found within one field.
The collective's goals are to protect those fields and to preserve blueberries and other plants for generations to come.
Sharing the importance of the wild blueberry, that they're at risk of being gone.
In Belfast, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well,
what a great effort.
I know.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can reach their goal.
Yeah, we need to keep those things alive. I plan to do my part. I'm going to plant some blueberry plants this year.
There we go.
Yeah, I love blueberries.
Me too.
Yeah.
Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience a quality automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Calls to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. We have wave heights at around 4 feet this morning. Even though it's looking a little active, not enough to prompt any advisories along the coast at this moment in time. And even looking calm further off towards the east. Overall, the ocean definitely looking very peaceful this morning. Meanwhile, further off on land, we're seeing some rain and a little bit of snow developing. It may accumulate in a couple spots, but very minimal. And with high temperatures getting above freezing today, again, the snowfall not looking too terrible. With this area low pressure that will be tracking off to the east, we'll see the snowfall backing off a little bit overnight, and we may see a little bit of that occurring as we head towards tomorrow. Here's the rain and snow passing through today. It will start to back off overnight for a little while, but as we head towards your Friday, we'll see a little bit of this occurring again throughout parts of your Friday. But again, once we head towards Friday night, we'll see the precipitation backing off and the clouds breaking up as we head towards your Saturday morning. So with regards to the snow accumulations, again, not looking too bad. You may see a little bit, but again, melting away fast with high temperatures each and every day, getting above freezing. And again, with regards to the total amount of water, looking a little bit like this. Again, 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rainfall, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch in a few spots before we're all finished up. And this is total water, so taking into account a little bit of that rainfall and snowfall as well. So with regards to the water, we could definitely take it, though. Again, make a dent in that drought that we're still seeing across the state. So for today, we got rain and snow showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, with highs in the upper 40s and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Later on tonight, here we go. Low 30s under a mostly cloudy sky, rain and snow showers again. North breeze backing off to about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have mid 40s, mostly cloudy. We got rain and snow showers and that north wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Alrighty, let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Quality Auto Automotive in Brewer, showing a partly cloudy sky coming up for your Saturday. Highs in the upper 50s, and then low 60s for your Sunday under a mostly cloudy sky. Mostly cloudy Monday, highs in the low 60s.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
I found the University Studies program, and the people were fantastic, and they helped me understand how I could really pretty easily become part of UMaine, become part of that program, and showed me that within about 2 years, I could have my degree. What I like about being able to study anywhere is probably this. I can literally be outside on the deck. I can be in my house. I can be in another country doing my schoolwork, and it just works really well for my for the life that I have.
Who has the best kept secret in Penobscot County?
We do!
Welcome to Maple Lane Farms, a fifth-generation family farm that's committed to providing you with the best quality products. Our farm-raised local and sustainable meat is flash frozen to lock in the freshness and natural flavors. Experience the top-notch quality of our meat that's naturally raised without any antibiotics or hormones. Get the best of both worlds, quality and affordability. Try Maple Lane Farms today, the candy store for the carnivore.
Look at that kitty.
Brand name scrubs and Dansko footwear. Style and comfort at work. Miller's Workshop for brands that work.
I just wanted to get married and have a normal family. He got down on his knee and I did say yes. I thought this is a dream come true, and that was a colossal mistake.
This is Betrayal. Sunday night on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
And 5, 6, 7, 8.
That was good.
You like how I did
yeah.
that? Dancers strutted their stuff for a chance to be a Radio City Rockette, performing in the 2026 Christmas Spectacular in December. More than 1,100 dancers auditioned for a spot Wednesday, showing off their precise high kicks and spot-on turns. The audition consisted of one routine the hopefuls learned and then immediately performed it in front of the judges. Those who passed the first round will continue their auditions over the next 2 days. The Rockettes say this year's applicants came from 43 states and 20 countries, including France, Japan, Germany, and Mexico.
I would love to go see them sometime.
I got to see them at Christmas
Really?
one time. Just a spectacular show. If you ever get a chance to do it.
So cool.
Do it.
Definitely. Well, there's a new member in the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. A newborn, is it poodoo?
Yeah, sounds good.
Fawn is one of the world's tiniest deer species.
Aw.
The rare animal is native to South America. Poodoos are famously petite, growing just 13 to 17 inches tall as adults, about knee-high to humans.
Boy,
that is
they
really
are cute.
small. They are really cute.
Almost
Aw.
looks like a little pig in a way.
Yeah. It does. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
Thanks for being there, folks. We hope you have a great day.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
ABC 7, Fox 22.
Buffering. But it also means calling you back, showing up on time, and treating you like a person, not a problem. So whether you're working, streaming, gaming, or all three, it is time to make the switch to a provider that actually tries. Go NetSpeed. Service isn't dead. It just moved local.
Hi, I'm Tony with TC Hafford Basement Systems. All things basementy.
Is your foundation shifting, settling, or cracking? Don't wait till it's too late. We offer the most reliable solutions to lift and stabilize your sinking foundation. With our advanced piering techniques, we'll ensure your home is back on solid ground. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementing.
Kirk Fisher is a motorcycle attorney with first responder experience. He protects fellow riders and those in danger, fighting fires and fighting for your rights. Experienced, determined, and dedicated. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Look for motorcycles, or Kirk Fisher will be looking for you.
Dreaming of a new garage or custom build? Patriot Landscaping and Construction delivers from frame to finish. Expert craftsmanship, durable designs, and quality you can trust, we get it done right. Call Patriot Landscaping and Construction today. Let's build your future together.
Good Morning Maine on WFVX, Fox 22. From the Great Northwoods to the Rock Mount Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Coming up on Good Morning Maine, we'll hear from the owner of Quality Jewelers regarding the act of vandalism that targeted several businesses in Bangor yesterday.
Plus, Penobscot Air will receive a portion of their payment from USPS, ending the mail delivery pause in Mid-Coast Maine.
And Bangor residents celebrated Earth Day by volunteering in a citywide cleanup. We'll bring you that story as well.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for being there. We'll have all the day's news coming up over the next hour, but first to check with that forecast, and it's another gloomy day out there.
It is.
We can expect rain on and off throughout today, but once we get through today and tomorrow morning, things are going to be brightening up.
Yeah, you said near 60?
We're going to break 60 heading into the weekends, and we'll
Nice.
have partly cloudy skies, a little sunshine.